Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Stay Fabulous. With your hostesses and MCs, Miss Kaylin Fierce and Miss Jacqueline Frost. Featuring tonight's special guest, Mr. Bobby Bruno, also known as Miss Jennifer Foxx. Forever Miss Gay America. Pour up your favorite cocktail, sit back, and ladies, take it away.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, guys. We are so happy you joined us tonight. We have something very special. We have Mr. Bobby Bruno, also known as Miss Jennifer Foxx. She is a former Miss and always Miss Gay America. She is fabulously talented. And so I guess we'll find out more about her. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Bobby.
Hello,
Hi,
Mr. Fox.
Hi, ladies. How are you?
Fabulous.
I'm coming to you live and outrageously from Southgate, Michigan, and very pleased to be with you tonight. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate your interest. It's very kind of you. Thank you.
You're so welcome. We're honored to have you.
Oh, cool.
Oh.
Kaylin.
So I'm going to move this thing along. So
Okay.
I'm so fortunate that I have the opportunity to spend this next hour or so with the two of you, with our producer at hand, Mr. Charlie Schneider, who is really doing everything he can to make this look as glossy and beautiful as possible. And he never, ever doesn't come through. So thank you, Charlie. I know you're there in the cyberspace someplace. So thank you, honey, for making this so glossy as it begins to grow, as Stay Fabulous begins to grow. I have a limited connection with Kaylin, which I didn't even realize until she contacted me recently and said, you know, I do know you. And I was like, no, must be another Jennifer Foxx. And she was like, no, I was a Michigander. And then she gave me a little bit of her history and then said she moved away and she came back and she was quite familiar with my path in life and brought me here today. Jacqueline, on the other hand, I've only ever known as a Michigander. And while I was well into my career, she burst onto the amateur stage and then quickly escalated through the ranks. I don't think that I have ever, there are a few. Jacqueline Frost. What's really interesting about Jacqueline Frost is that she has a career. She has an actual career. She works very hard and she's very good at what she does. But in almost every other waking moment of her day, her existence, she immersed herself into the art form of female impersonation. Fascinated with the RuPaul phenomena, very tight with the Detroit ranks, Toledo ranks, inserted herself consciously into the socialism of Detroit drag. And it was really interesting because when you talk about fortitude, Jackie is one of those people that won't give up. She won't give up. She's like, here's my product. You might not like it. I'll make it better. Next time, you will like it. Yep. You don't like it this time, you'll like it next time. But these people over here like my product. So it's not so important that you like my product. So I've watched you tried to figure out the equation of success for drag. And it's been interesting. It's been interesting. And what's really been interesting about it is that you're so happy about it. You're like, I love some drag. I love me some drag.
Do. I love
I
it.
know. And you post all these pictures with the RuPaul kids and all these different people, and you're like, look at me. And I'm like, she really loves this.
Yeah.
And I great kudos to you, lady. I think that's really precious. I think it's precious.
When
So
I
that's my
started
2 cents.
going to do the drag shows, this never occurred to me that I'd be a drag queen. I just loved going to watch. Nikki Stevens was the first Detroit drag queen that I saw perform. And I think it was the Monday night at Gigi's. It was her and the boys, Chico, and she did Bette Midler, which I love Bette Midler. And I'm like, oh my God, she's doing it. And she had been beneath my wings, like, oh my God, this is so great. So I started going to the cabaret shows, which is where I was introduced to you, because you were on every Saturday night. The thing that always struck me is I went with some friends, and some friends kind of filled me like, okay, Jennifer Foxx is a legend. I mean, Miss Gay America in 1982, she's had this long career. She's here on Saturday nights. So I'm thinking, okay, she's an old school queen. So I'm expecting songs from the 70s and 80s, and you stay current. I mean, I remember, I think it was the first time I actually saw you perform was Glamorous. Actually, it was Glamorous Life by Sheila E. and it went into Glamorous by Fergie.
I love that song.
You stay current on everything, and you rock the songs out.
Oh, bless your heart.
So I love watching you perform because it's not just the way back machine all the time. You bring current songs into your repertoire, and the costumes are phenomenal, and you look fantastic.
Oh, you're kind. Thank you. I
will say, as far as my coming up in the drag scene, the first pageant I did was Miss Amateur Gigi's back in 2008, and I had the pleasure of having you as one of the judges. And
was I nice? Was I nice?
Actually, there were only a couple judges that were wrong this, wrong this, wrong this, and then most of the judges were like, okay, the dress should have been this length, try this next time. The hair should have been this, try this next time. Like, it was constructive criticism. It wasn't just like, well, you sucked. So I kind of took the constructive criticism to when I came back to do it again, like, okay, this is what they wanted. I'm going to give them this. So it was very, very helpful. And I know, not this past year, but the previous year when Miss Gigi's Weekend was afoot, I was doing Miss Gigi's, my first time doing Miss. And I was nervous. I didn't know what to expect. And I went to you for advice. And you were very helpful, and I very much appreciate it. Because I knew who to go to and what to ask. Because my thing with pageants is I want to present myself, but I think a lot of times, like in the pro titles, the judges are expecting, ta-da. And what if I want to present to not ta-da? It's more like, hi. But you were very helpful. You were very instructive, and I went there. I didn't win, but
let me, in regards to that, let me tell you, many, many, many times, ta-da doesn't win, and high with consistency does.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So always remember that. The biggest splash in the pool doesn't always make the biggest wave in the scores. It doesn't.
Yeah, but I still remember that first pageant. I didn't place anywhere as far as hair, makeup, gown, but when it came to talent, me and my little Zac Efron cardboard cutout got pretty tops in the scoring.
See? So high worked. and it gave you the opportunity to learn your craft and to have more stage experience. So the next time you come back, you go, this was good.
Yeah.
This not so good. This real good.
When I went into it, I thought, you know what, I'm not going to win this. My first year out, my first year of doing drag, my first pageant, it's Gigi's, for crying out loud. But I want to see, I've been on the opposite side. I've watched. I want to see what goes into it. So it's like, okay, now I know. So when I decided to come back and do it, then I got it. And then 2 years later, I won Miss Amateur Metros. So, and I'm still Miss Amateur Metros.
and you're still, yes. Tim
I was
McKee
supposed to do it 4
would love
times
to
until
remind
20
you,
before we
you're
gave it up.
still amateur judges. You and Natalie are the longest running title holders in the state.
Yes, we are.
People that don't know drag ask me, like, who's the current one? And I'm like, well, they've been that for 10 years. And they're like, what does that mean? Do you win a drag title and you reign for 10 years? I'm like, well, not exactly. but this is what happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're about to have it in April of 2000 this year. I'm almost still in last year of 2021. So Tim McKee has rescheduled for Miss Professional Menjos in April, and I'm sure that this amateur is located right in there too, because he wanted to have them close together.
Yeah.
So you should give up the one and go ahead and run for the other. You've had enough time.
You've had 10 years. Is it time? Yes. So I just wanted to briefly give the viewership, and I also want to say on behalf of Kaylin, when we did the pre-interview, she said, "I just want you to understand that this is a rather grassroots kind of thing, and I have a viewership that also include my friends that are not familiar with this business. They're not familiar with you. They don't know you from Adam. They don't know Jacqueline. They don't know anything. They just know me, Gary, Pete, and they're tuning in to see. So when you do an interview like that, you want to include everybody, because as soon as you start speaking on subjects, they're like, oh, this doesn't have anything to do with me. So that makes a difficult hour. Makes a difficult hour. But I wanted to get at least this far so we could go, okay, we all know where we're coming from. We know who we are, and we know where we need to go, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I still remember, Bobby, when I first met you, you looked at me. We talked about this. You looked at me and you said, you could be a Miss Gay America. You look great as a guy. You look feminine as a woman. And I still remember that. That just made my life.
Well, it was always kind of part of my mission statement as I went around the country, well after Miss America, to give people that were in pageantry the motivation to say, I see the elements in you. You know, not falsely. I'm not that guy. I'm not here to build somebody up and hurt and have their feelings hurt by the general public. But if I saw an inkling of the elements that go together that create a winner in the Miss Gay America pageantry system, then I was always there to go, yeah. And I would also like to say, since we're here at this time, just because I always have to when I do this kind of thing, in the next hour or so, the comments and the remarks are that I'm going to make are my own. They do not reflect on the Miss Gay America pageantry system, nor do they reflect on Mad Angel Entertainment, who are the current owners of Miss Gay America. These are my opinions, and I am not a spokesperson for the organization, but I got a lot of opinions, but I'm not an actual spokesperson. So I have to say that, so it's a disclaimer. So thank you for allowing me to do that.
Oh, very welcome. Now, you are Miss Gay America 1982.
Yes. They changed the actual calendar of Miss Gay America. I won Miss Gay America on September 19th of 1981 in Dallas, Texas. So for years, I was Miss Gay America 1981. Unbeknownst to me, the management at that time was trying to even the calendar out so it wouldn't lapse over 81, 82, 82, 83. They just wanted to give a numeric value to whoever won. So suddenly they said, you're Miss Gay America 82. And I was like, that's a mistake. I won it in 81. And they're like, catch up with the program. We changed the program. You're 82. So now when I say it's my 40th anniversary or my 90th anniversary, they go, no, it's your 89th anniversary. They changed the calendar. So, yeah. But yeah, it was in essence, it was 81. But yeah, I'm Miss Gay America in 1982.
Oh, cool. What pageants have you done prior to doing Miss Gay America?
My career was very interesting because I started here in Detroit in 1974. And this will lead to several conversations that we're going to have if we have enough time, and I talk fast enough. There were 33 bars in the Detroit area. 30 of them did shows. Most of us were not paid. Several of us were paid 25, if that. And I was more or less a burlesque performer. I had a suitcase and a wig, and I booked myself in bars, and usually they didn't pay me. And I went there and I did my little act on the pool table or wherever it was. And but I took it so seriously, I began to get some recognition. And people were like, have you seen this Jennifer Foxx guy? Because I didn't really look like I would want to look. Have you seen this Jennifer Foxx guy? And I was like, it built. But it built at such a rapid pace that by the time I was working at the first gay bar, I won that title. That was the Bookies title. I was Miss Bookies 1975. Then that led to me, the bar, when you hear now the word Backstreet, the bar, Backstreet has been through many incarnations. And I was the first show director in 1978 at Backstreet, and I was the first Miss Backstreet, which had formerly been called The Escape. And from there, I entered Miss America. And as soon as I entered Miss America, I got the fever. And I went back 6 times. I was 5th runner-up, 4th runner-up, 3rd runner-up. I fell back 1 year, blah, 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 and then I won it. So when people go, what bar titles do you have? I'm like, I only have 2. And they were a long time ago. And they're like, why? And I'm like, because I won Miss America. And then that disqualifies you forever, supposedly, entering another national contest. Absolutely, a local contest, because how embarrassing would it be to enter, Miss Hayloft, and then I lose. And then you're going, Jennifer Foxx lost Miss Hayloft. I love the Hayloft. I'm just picking a bar. You wouldn't want that to happen. But since there's nothing on the books, on the legislative books for Miss Gay America, there hadn't been for years. Many of the former Miss Gay Americas entered other pageants and won. Several of them are Miss USAs. A couple of them went to Continental. Until Miss Gay America said, we can't legislate that you can't enter another contest, but we would prefer. Mm-hmm. So, but there are contest queens that are professional queens that are, Sabrina White is our Miss Gay America, who's fabulous, fabulous. She just garnered another title. Many people think that they need to remain relevant through titles, and I understand that, and it works for them, and it works for the bottom line, which is their check. The more titles you have, sometime the more money you get. Yeah, so I can certainly understand that. I'm very dedicated to the Miss Gay America pageantry system, but I wouldn't admonish anybody for wanting to escalate their career. And sometimes, if you have the gifts to be able to accomplish another crown, you should be able to.
Oh yeah. I've always done the bar pageants, the bars that I feel I already am a part of, that I want to represent. I'm not a title queen where, this bar's having a pageant, I'll do it. This bar's having a pageant, I'll do it. It's like, for me, it's been like Rainbow Room, which then was Birdcage, Gigi's, Minjo's. I really haven't gone, past Detroit because I really don't perform most outside Detroit. This is my home, so this is where I want to represent. Right. So I've never been one to go out of state for pageants or go, further north for pageants. It's always been local and always been where I've already considered family.
Of course. So we shall foray from this conversation into this. So all I ever wanted to be was Miss Gay America. Being Miss Gay America opened. When I was young and I was trying to get into show business, I went in as an actor and auditioned a great deal and got turned down a lot. And by the time Jennifer Foxx inadvertently came about, I found a little success in it, but I never thought it was going to turn into this. After I won Miss Gay America, through the constituency that is Miss Gay America, the formers, I began to make connections. And Michael Andrews, who was Miss Gay America from 1975, and Hot Chocolate, who was Miss Gay America from 1978, were both working for Lou Paciocco in the LA version of An Evening at La Cage. It was the original, it was the flagship. And I didn't even know what that was. I was working in the clubs, in the gay clubs. And they called me. Oh, you scared me. Hello.
Thanks, darling.
Well, there you are.
Right.
And Michael Andrews called me and said, me and Chocolate, Larry, are working in LA. And I said, oh, great. And they said, it's a show. And we do characters. And I was like, well, good for you. And they said, somebody told us that when Joan Rivers released an album, you were pantomiming her stuff in bars. And I said, I was doing it for fun because I was, I had hair down to here and I was rubbing my butt and running around in a circle and rubbing my boobs and trying to be sexy. So then I said, if I come out as Joan Rivers, they're going to go, oh my God, the kid has actual talent. So I started pantomiming Joan Rivers. So they said, how's that working for you? And I said, oh, it's working really good. It's really fun. And they said, we're going to Japan and we need a Joan Rivers. And we want you to go to Japan with us. We're going to go for a month. And it might turn into 3 months, depending upon what the reviews are. And I said, well, I just pantomime her on a record. I don't have an act. And they said, well, think about it and we'll call you back. And they called me back in a couple of days and said, you ready? And I said, I don't have an act. I'm just pantomiming her record.
Rest.
And I didn't go to Japan. To this day, but I did the right thing because I didn't want to disappoint the producers and I didn't want to embarrass myself. Shortly thereafter, I was working in a bar in Detroit called the Pink Flamingo. I was the show director there on 6 Mile and Woodward, next to Menjo's, which is the parking lot now. And there was a venue in Detroit in Sterling Heights called the Premier Center. The Premier Center was the biggest 1,600 seat venue in all of the metro area that hosted all the big names. Tom Jones, Dionne Warwick, Dolly Parton, all that. And they called and I answered the phone at the bar and they said, is Bobby Bruno there? And I said, yes, this is me. And they said, we'd like you to come down and audition for us. And I said, for what? And they said, we're trying to replicate this show called An Evening at La Cage. Are you familiar with it? And I said, I know what that is. My buddies are in that show. And they said, well, come down here. So I went down and I got there with my vinyl under my arm, my little suitcase. And I came into a 1,600 seat theater and 2 producers were out there in the dark with a microphone. And they were cueing the sound guy and said, let's get this done. Come out. And I came out and I started pantomiming the record. And the producer went, stop. What are you doing? And I said, you told me to come in and audition for Joan Rivers. He said, do it with your own, he was Italian, do it with your own voice. And I went, I can't. I don't do that. That's not my act. And he said, okay, go home, work it out, come back at 3 o'clock tomorrow. If you need, if you want to, if you're serious about auditioning. And I went home and drank a bottle of booze and cried and talked to my family and said, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? This is a chance of a lifetime. And my mother said, do you know the words? And I said, I know the words, but I don't really sound like her and I don't really look like her. And I'm not. My mother said, all they can do is tell you no. Get on your horse and go down there and do it. And I went in and I did it. And they said, you're hired. Well, they had a running show called Putting on the Stars with actual stars, but with their own sexes. They had a guy that did Neil Diamond. They had a lady that did Barbara Streisand and sang with their own voices. They had a guy that did Kenny Rogers and sang with his own voice. Elvis and sang with his own voice. A Diana Ross and sang with her own voice. Mm-hmm. And they took that show, and Joan Rivers was on the Tonight Show at that time, and they built me a Tonight Show set, and they made me Joan Rivers. And I brought out all these famous people, and they would perform, and then they would sit down, and I would interview them.
Wow.
And I did that for 2 years. And then they said, we're going to give you your own show. I thought they called me into the office, and I thought they called me in to fire me. I was like, oh, it was a good run. I had so much fun. This was great. And he said, we're going to give you your own show. Have you ever seen An Evening at La Cage? There's this guy called Frank Marino, and he does it in Las Vegas. And I said, I've never seen the show. And we got on an airplane, and we went there and watched the show and came back to Michigan. And he said, do it. So I had to find a cast with a budget. So I went back to my gay bar system and looked at the people that I had around me and said, you could be Tina Turner to Melba Moore. And Melba Moore said, I love Tina Turner. I said, I know, I've seen you do her before and it's real good. Then there was an album. There was an album with a shot and it was a Saturday evening and at the Pink Flamingo, and April Summers I had booked in the show, and April came into my dressing room and said, let's have a good time tonight and all this. And I said, have you seen this album? And she said, oh yeah. And I said, Eddie, you kind of look like Patti LaBelle. And April was like, a little, yeah, I love her. I love her. And I had gotten, this is hysterical. I love Shirley Bassey. And she got a corkscrew wig on. One of those corkscrew wigs that we're about to hear that don't look pretty on anybody, but they look pretty on Shirley Bassey. Well, I went downtown and I bought one. It was just awful. And I wore it for like a number and people were like, boo, get off. And so when April came in, I said, and we were looking at that Patti LaBelle album, I turned that wig over and I said, this looks like Patti's hair on this album. And I gave it to Eddie, to April Summers. And the rest is history. I hired April. I hired Elaine St. Jacques. I hired some dancers, and we had our show there for 2 years. And then April went on to La Cage, and then Las Vegas hired me for La Cage, and then we opened in Hawaii, and on and on. Then I got Atlantic City for 5 years. So it's interesting when you look back, because people like today go, do you know April Summers? And I'm like, do I know April Summers? Yeah. We used to pick each other up in our Mercury Lynxes and drive and share gas money to get to work. Yeah, I know her. So that's a part of how all that started. Why I wanted to lay that part of history is this. That's like the old days. That's all fine. But this is what that did. When I started doing this, most of us didn't get paid. I worked my way up to $25. Eventually, through the years, because of my accomplishments, I started making really good money. And I started gaining control. I started gaining control by being the show director. And I was watching Detroit and surrounding area queens work really hard. And they were being paid crap, shit. And I said, that's not fair. That's not fair. I'm very grateful that you're paying me this money. And I know you've seen me on TV and I get all that. But these kids are killing themselves. So as I began to book for these people, I started upping the money. So that $25 those kids were getting, I got to $50. Then I got it to $75. Then when I started booking shows at the Rainbow Room, I started booking those kids for $100. I was the one that raised the pay scale in Michigan. I was the one that did that. And now all those years are past and people don't know that. Well, I want them to know it again. Because now the days are when people do shows for free or for tips. I know things have changed. I know the economy has dipped several times, but I was the one that set the pay scale for those children in Detroit because I thought they should be given the money they deserved. Now those days are gone. I understand that, but I'm no longer, I don't need a pat on the back. But I do want the history to be known that I was the one that actually evolved that pay scale due to the fact that I began to get paid so well. And I didn't think that was fair. Also, something I'd like to mention, there's a great deal of confusion between the words legend and veteran. Now, you can be on the stage for 40 years. And God bless you. That makes you a veteran of drag. To be a legend in drag, you have to offer and succeed in giving the gay community something that moves the needle forward, politically, altruistically, philanthropically. You have to do something that's in the books. I was the first female impersonator to ever appear on national television. I debated Jerry Falwell. I was the first person to ever cross the Ku Klux Klan line to give up my crown in Charlotte, North Carolina. I was one of the first ones ever to be in casinos. And that appearance on Tom Snyder with my mother, I was the first female impersonator in the United States to ever be on television. And I didn't go on in drag because I wanted to reach the masses and tell them that we were normal people. That makes you a legend. Being with lipstick on for 40 years makes you a veteran. And I applaud all the veterans. But when people post on Facebook, the legendary, I'm like, she's not legendary. Please, because I'm going to be dead someday real soon. And there needs to be a delineation between these terminologies, because young kids, I mean, I see young kids on Facebook, 22 now, and they're talking to their 23-year-old friends and they're like, girl, you're a legend. I'm like, she did 5 shows.
Right.
She's very beautiful. She's very beautiful, but she's not a legend. They throw it around a lot.
Yeah.
Like I think Denise Russell is probably both a legend and a veteran.
But she's earned her legendary status. Denise Russell has 2 national title holders. She was Miss USA of at large, and she was Miss Continental Plus. And that was in a time where those contests were really formulating. And Denise was instrumental in laying the groundwork, the blueprint for what those contests are today. That's why when people bypass Miss Gay America, they're like, that was yesterday. I was the 10th Miss Gay America. Myself and the 9 people before me, there was no other contest. There was no other pageant in America. We were the only one. Myself and the 9 people before me created the blueprint which is now pageantry in the United States, in all of the systems. And I'm very proud of that. But that gets overlooked. They're like, oh, girl, that was a long time ago. I'm like, no, you won't do that. No, you won't do that. No, you won't do that. I created part of the very blueprint, the fabric of what pageantry is. Years go by, things start to get muddled. Weren't you somebody? And that's going to happen to both of you. You know, as it happens to all of us. People forget. Time moves on. There's always a prettier, skinnier girl in the wings. Trust me. There's always one. I wanted to get those few points out. So thank you for letting me do that.
Oh, you're more than welcome. We enjoyed listening to the history, listening to, you know,
absolutely
how it all became about.
I'm just hoping that Stay Fabulous doesn't fizzle out. Because I don't know if I really want to go back into stage shows, Bobby. I'm kind of content with doing this and giving back to the community, you know?
Well, everybody has to find their place. They have to find their forte, which is, I guess we can go here now. I was going to use this for the wrap up.
Sorry.
No, I was going to use this for the wrap up, but we're going that way. As we discussed on the phone, everything is grassroots. Everything starts somewhere. What's interesting about you, Gary, is that your heart's good, but you got 10 things going on in your head at one time. So you're trying to make it all work, and you know each one of those 10 things needs attention to come to fruition. And so far, so good, because you kind of just put it in a bag and you shook it up and you went like this. And it kind of got legs and it started to walk. And now you're seeing Karen. Karen can really be helpful to us. Charlie could really be helpful to us. You know, in a short period of time, you know, this thing is starting to smooth out. We're getting consistency here. You know, it's getting momentum. I think one of the things that's going to be really beneficial to you, that's going to separate you from others, but it's going to be very difficult. And we spoke about this on the phone. You've got a lot of love in your heart, and you want to instill this in Stay Fabulous, which turns out to be community outreach, and for lack of better terminology. And I even said that, but you're trying to press it down. You're like a friendly group of people that wants to help other people. This is what we are. We're not really community outreach. We don't have medical services. We don't have psychological. I can't send an ambulance to your house. We're not giving COVID shots this week. But, you know, so I'm like, you're like, pull it back. It's not really community out, but it is community outreach in its fledgling stages. You're trying to create a base of people that want to help other people. And that can be a multitude of things. Many people need somebody with a good ear just to listen. Don't judge me.
He actually is the one that started the group, yeah.
I saw. Yeah. Well, that's why you and Frosty are such a good pair, because Frosty's got a big heart too, and Frosty wants to create this. I'm your friend, you're my friend. If you have anything to say, I'm always here to listen. Which will grow into other things, because you will bring other people on board that say, my friend is a medical assistant at such and such, and has got 1 hour a week. If you need something, maybe we can message her. It will grow. Goodness precedes goodness. And if you create, you know, people fire up Facebook all the time and really want. Facebook has become a lot of things, and it's a lot of good and it's a lot of bad, and we all know that. Yep. But many people fire up Facebook in the darkness of their bedroom just because they want to talk to somebody and say, would you just listen to me for 10 minutes? I just need somebody to listen to me. Don't judge me, just listen to me.
Right.
You know, and I think that this is what will make you folks different. Because if you allow people to feel you're a safe harbor, they'll flock to you. People need to be heard. People need to be heard. And the world is rough. It's rough.
Yeah.
It's rough. I said I wasn't going to cry before the hour was over, but it's rough. It's rough. So if you feel that your forte lies in this, Kaylin, then do this. Not everybody needs to be on the stage jumping around like a monkey and running in a circle. I mean, you know, yeah. But, you know, water finds its own level. Find what feeds you and then use that to help others. You know, the older you get, altruism becomes clearer to you. You get to understand who you are and why you were put here. They say people shoot at shiny things. When I was younger, they shot. I mean, for most of my early career, I was shot at in Detroit. They did their very best to kill me off. And I retaliated by being the worst, nastiest, most forceful bitch that ever wore a pair of high heels. And it wasn't who I was, but I wasn't going to let them hurt me. As the years wore on and they began to discover who I was, they're like, you're more good than you are bad. We shouldn't be afraid of you. I'm like, I've been telling you guys that from the beginning. But every time somebody slaps you in the face, you'd be silly if you didn't slap back.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's human nature. Now I've reached a point in my career that I believe that people know. I mean, shortly, in a couple of years, I'm going to be 70. So, I mean, I think people know at this time of my life, I'm not out to bite you. I'm not out to bite you. I'm trying to make a living in this art form, and I will continue to. But if I can help you in any way, I'm more than glad. I'm more than glad to. The thing that I'm experiencing now is that a lot of people that were my age when I was getting kicked around are getting kicked around now. So when I go, I'd like to help you, they're like, don't touch me. Don't touch me. I don't feel you. I'm like, I'm not going to hurt you. I really would like to help you. No, I don't need your help. I'm like, oh, wherever you are right now, that's where I am. And I can't blame them because I was there.
Yeah.
I think kindness is a rare commodity these days. I think we need to be, especially with this current political climate, and we won't go in that direction. But I think as a community, I sound like old state adages, but I think we need to be nicer to each other. We need to be nicer. There's some really good entertainers in Detroit. There's some really good entertainers. And given the stage time, a little bit of camaraderie, when I'm dead and Nikki's dead, she's gonna kill me for saying that.
She's not going to die ever.
And Nikki's going to limbo. We all know that. It's just going to be a constant waiting period for the rest of her life. When we're long gone, I would love to think that this art form still flourishes. And they look back and go, that girl right there, she kind of did that Jennifer Foxx kick. And they go, who's Jennifer Foxx? Oh, she was this queen. She was pretty good. But she did that Jennifer Foxx kick. Whatever that may be. We want to leave our imprint here. Once again, Nikki will go, I'm not going anywhere. And I understand. I'm just using it as an example. There is much to be said for legacy. And you have to work for your legacy. Legacy is like legend and veteran. Legacy comes from accomplishment, but a great deal of legacy comes from how people perceive you. If I never talk to Jacqueline Frost again after tonight, I'm hoping by the flavor that she got from me, when somebody goes, Jennifer Foxx, that bitch, that Jacqueline will go, you don't know him. You don't know him. Yeah, but a big deal, and she's missed somebody and all this shit. And you'll be like, not true. Not true. You never gave her a chance. People like to shoot at shiny things. In every system, there has to be a villain. Every Disney movie has a villain. A real villain, not a Nikki villain. Nikki's a plastic villain. Nikki's the biggest puss in the world. She's the sweetest kid. So all that crap that she spouts, and she's a good puss. But every system has to have a villain. And long time ago, they decided I was going to be the villain because I had gotten the farthest. And I was like, and it was terrible because they held me up for so long and they were like, you're getting there, you're getting there, you're getting there. Yeah, you're getting there. And then I got there and they went, boo. And I went, what's that about? And they went, oh, you're just messy. We don't like you. You're just grand. And I was like, you gave me $100 to buy a pair of, shoes to go to Miss America. I didn't have any shoes. Now I'm boo. Well, people are odd. People are odd, and drag can be treacherous, as you well know.
Yes, it is.
One thing,
Never changing.
One thing with me, Bobby, is that I didn't get into the cliques, and I pretty much taught myself makeup. So I didn't really have all those friends that, was there to talk me through and help me through and stuff like that. I had to do everything on my own. Thank God I had Charlie as my sponsor because he helped me a ton. So.
Well, that's an interesting point, and that brings me to this. This part of the conversation has been a great pitfall for me, and I want to impart this in both of you, so you can perhaps use this as a teaching moment. There's an actual phenomenon. It's art versus commerce. And I was in the middle of it from the very beginning. When you first start doing drag, you're with your buddies, you put a traffic cone on your head, you dance around in some bar, you have 8 tequila shots, they throw money at you. Next week, you're an entertainer. Okay, that's fine. That's called drag is self-expression. And drag has been self-expression for thousands of years. Thousands of years. And nobody can judge self-expression because it's indigenous to the person that's showing you who they are. Whatever you want to do, that's your art. Like sculptor, like sculpting, like painting, like welding, it's your art. Objectively, people can go, I don't like that. But they can't really judge it. They cannot judge your art. They can just give their opinion. Versus commerce. Okay, so I come into an art form that people are putting, don't judge me, a traffic cone on their head and dancing around it. And then I'm killing myself to get these designer clothes, coming in there, being in this contest system, doing all this stuff. And then I come in there. They hate me already then. Because I'm serious as a heart attack. And they're like, she's not fun. And I'm like, I'm working. I'm working here. And they're like, and you're not fun. I'm like, okay, well, whatever. I'm working. I don't have time to be fun and working. I learned 4 new tunes this week. These are 4 new outfits. I haven't even paid my rent yet. This is $613 worth of dresses that I put together with the best of my money. that nobody's seen. This is very important to me. I'm doing the top 4 songs in the country. You're over there with your friends in the corner talking about going out and smoking a cigarette in the hallway. I'm trying to do something here. That made me very unpopular, as it should. It also, I thought, allowed me to criticize them. So I began to criticize their art. Your hair's wrong. Your hair's not good. Well, who are you, Jennifer Foxx? I'm like, I'm just Jennifer Foxx, but your hair's not good. You can't go out there like that. So suddenly commerce was criticizing art. And they were like, and they ostracized me. They were like, you can just go away because we don't need that. We came here to have fun with our friends and go out and pantomime and dance in a circle like a monkey. Right. And you're going to tell us how we did? A little score sheet? What? 10. Is that what you're going to do to us? No, you're not. No, you're not. And I inadvertently got into that, thinking that they were going to go, can you help me with my hair? So I started doing that. Take off that wig. We got 10 minutes. Let me redo that wig for you. It's better than it was. Okay, go out there now and kill them. And then they began to see that I wasn't the devil, that I wanted better for them. I wanted better for them. And it's taken me many years to get rid of that, because I still got girls. I mean, I'll come into dressing room and they will look at me and I'll go, hello, how is everybody doing this evening? And they'll go, nice. And I'm like, oh, she don't like me. she don't like me. She heard something bad. You want the art form to thrive. I have always said from the beginning, a talented girl, a big girl, is not afraid of another talented girl. All the title holders I know from all the contests, we get together, it's kisses and hugs. We don't even talk about drag. We talk about their boyfriends, politics. You know, I got a pair of size 11s. They hurt my toes. You want them? I mean, it's not like that. But when you come to the clubs, I don't know why it just has to be a vicious competition. That's why Menjo's is interesting. They've spawned a whole new group of young girls that are keeping that club alive, drag wise, and they're young and they're talented and they're bright and they're friendly to each other. They've created, I mean, they cut each other up. It's fun, but they care for each other, and they've given each other space to create their own characters, and they don't step on each other's characters. And so I'm seeing the groundwork for something really good in Detroit. I mean, we had no resources when I started. We bought our makeup in drugstores. I bought my wig off a $2 table downtown at the Kern block. I wore it for 2 years. It was a $2 wig. These kids have all the resources in the world at their fingertips. I mean, you go on Drag Swap or one of 30 other drag resources. You buy a pair of boobs that match your skin perfectly. You buy a lace front wig. You get some 301s. I mean, you know, you're in business.
There's something called Drag Swap.
Yeah.
I've never heard of it.
Oh, there's Drags Are Us, Drag Swap 2. Oh, they got everything you could ever want. And the most beautiful gowns that they use for competitions, they wear it once or twice. They can't wear it again, so they resell it at a premium. The most beautiful stuff. Everything in the world is there. Don't go there. You'll have no money left. I told April Summers a while ago, it was a couple years ago, more than a couple. And I said, did you ever go to this thing? And she was like, I don't feel that. And she went, and then she came back and she wrote me and she said, damn you. Damn. I'll be broke. I'll be homeless. The most beautiful jewelry from all the jewelry makers. Oh yeah, it's real good.
Yeah.
Go there. I'll send you an invite. I'll send you an invite to drag swapping.
I only work for CBS now. Come on.
But Angela Smith, I'm telling you, there's this Angela Smith, and she's a jeweler. She doesn't make the jewelry; she imports it. But I mean, you can get big, beautiful earrings for $20. I mean, stuff that you just go, what? $20? She put some on there today. I was crying. I was like, I want those. Those are pretty. Yeah, I'll send you the invite.
And see, and the thing of it is I've been out of drag for so long. When I created Stay Fabulous, I was like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and actually before that, I brought back from 2009 when I used to do Kaylin Fierce's Thought for the Week. And I would elaborate on different things like spousal abuse and all that stuff. And I said, I got to go bigger. So when I started, I didn't have anything. So my mom, this is probably pretty gruesome, but my mom passed away June of 2019. So she had a lot of stuff that I could wear. So I've been like kind of interacting between hit and miss at the store, like this is from the store, but then I've got a whole bunch of stuff that was hers. And so I don't have any of that big jewelry anymore. So, you know, and I know Charlie says, if you ever go back on stage, you need to go get this big jewelry. And I'm like, okay, you know, but do I really want, I guess I really haven't really decided on what I want to do yet. I know that Stay Fabulous is our baby and we're going to take care of it first off. You know, if it came down to show, it's going to be Stay Fabulous. You know, I'll be like, okay, can't do that show, you know? And so like I said, I don't have a lot of show type jewelry. But I don't think I really need to with this type of genre, you know, just doing the talk show thing.
Well, once again, you're in your quest to find Kaylin. So you'll know when you get there. You'll know when you get there. Wherever you arrive, you're going to need tools, and you'll know when you get there. Not everybody is a stage performer. Not everybody's a speaker. Not everybody's an organizer. Not everybody's an influencer, to whatever degree that may be. Finding our place is part of each of our journey in life. But you know, Jackie's lucky; she has a husband that supports her, so she has the latitude to try to discover who's really in there. Who am I in here? And right. You know, and she's got her dog, her beautiful doggy, and you know, so that lets you take that and put it aside and say, now let me find out who I am because I'm supported. You know, when you have a job, and we all need to be loved, and if you don't have a significant other in your life, and that's a hole, you know, to whatever degree it is. I mean, when they say drag is an expensive hobby, it's more than an expensive hobby. It's a psychological drain. It hurts sometimes. It's all encompassing sometimes. Drag is a preoccupation with the brain, and once you investigate what actually is in there, whether it be male, female, reptile, whatever it is, and you go, that's who I am. I'm a reptile. I mean, a part of me is a reptile. You want to develop that, and you want to visit it, and you want to nurture it. And that's what drag is. Drag is truly knowing that there are no gray areas in one's personality. We're just not men and women, conditionally as society. We're just not cis women and cis men or non-binary men and women. We're all varying shades of gray. And society is just learning that now. And so that's good for us at large in the business. But it's also good for people in general because it's not so astringent. You don't have to be one thing anymore.
Yeah.
You just don't have to be that one, and you don't have to be ashamed. You know, because it's the psychology of self. And once you realize the psychology of self is a healthy way to think, then you grow. You just grow because you're like, Gary can actually say, there's this thing in me called Kaylin. I don't know if it's female. I don't know if it's male. You give it a name. I just know it's Kaylin. And it feels good to me. It feels good to me. And it allows me to expand on Gary. Then the whole world opens up. The whole world opens up. And that's drag at its best. You know,
Well,
that's drag at its best.
Right. Well, and that's kind of it too, Bobby. I just feel like I love being in drag. I mean, I love this whole thing. Okay, no, it doesn't. It kind of gets a little frustrating sometimes. I think I've done my eyebrows like 10 times today.
It hurts. I'm telling you, it hurts.
Okay. And but you know, when I'm at work, I'm like, then I start thinking, it's like, do I really want to walk around in heels all day? You know, I'm like, what, you know, and I'm serious. I was really serious about it. I actually just talked to Charlie about it. I said, Charlie, I feel like maybe I'm trans because I love being in drag. But at the same time, I don't want to do it every day. So I think that I'm just drag. You know what I'm saying? I'm just a persona. I'm not a lifestyle, if that makes any sense. Does that make sense?
It makes sense.
Okay.
But you have to know, you're just by virtue of what you just said, you're at the beginning of a journey. Being trans isn't about being in drag all day or being in high heels. Trans is truly a state of mind. If you were trans, you'd know it. You would know it. You would have known it since you were little.
Right.
But there are varying degrees of that. And drag is also part of it. The confusing thing about drag and trans is they actually have nothing to do with each other. They just sometimes overlap in life. Many people are trans for their entire life. They never do drag.
Right.
Many people like myself do drag their whole life and have I've never gone, do I need really big boobs? I mean, today or Tuesday, I'd like to have really big boobs as long as I could just take them off, but real ones, and just put them in a box. And trans and drag are very different things, and you would know. You would know. But there are also varying degrees of society. They've given it names now. She's a cross-dresser. She's a tranny. You know, that's a butch queen. You know, because people feel comfortable with categorizations. If they can put you in a box and call you something, they go, oh, I know what a tranny is. That's that guy with a wee-wee and boobs. I got that. Do you know what I mean?
A wee and boobs.
A wee and boobs. This is I'm very scientific. Thank you very much.
Oh no, that's funny. I love it.
But people like it makes people feel comfortable.
Right.
And that harkens back to when it was one of the smartest things I ever did, and it was intentional. When I got into this business and I started doing television and everything, people said, well, here's Bobby Bruno and he's Miss America and he wants to be a woman. And I said, no. Back up the bus. I didn't give anybody permission to say that. I'm an actor. And they said, you're an actor. And what were you in? And I said, I'm in this red wig today and this lipstick.
Right.
I'm an actor and my character's name is Jennifer Foxx. And they went, don't get it. Don't want to get it. Think it's weird. And so I had to beat that to death for years. And
Right.
but what it did, it gave me credibility, because then as I continued to do television and appear, and they thought I was good at what they did, they were like, this guy's an actor and he's got all that shit down. You know what I mean? But but as soon as you said, oh, I'm a girl inside, I'm just a girl, then they're like, well, that's how you know how to do that, because you're a girl. So I would not allow them to do that to me. I would not allow them to take that much from me. I'm like an actor. And I always do the analogy, if I was a frog impersonator, I would be the best frog I could be. I would study frogs' mannerisms and idiosyncrasies. I would get that green color down just right. I would get the best frog bug eyes and the web feet, and you would think I was a frog. I'm that good. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. But when you take gender and you put it on you, people freak out. Oh my God, he's a woman. He's a woman with a pee-pee and boobs, and I think he wants to touch my pee-pee. I'm like, what? Where did I back it up? Now I want to touch your pee-pee. I know you're a homosexual. You love me, but I'm like, I don't even know you. What? Yeah, but all you homosexual guys, you want to get on us. I know. I've been told. Right. These are all the stereotypes you have to break through when you put lipstick on. Right. So, you know, the good news is the climate is getting better. The climate is getting better. Now you or Jackie can go to a straight bar and book in for a bingo or some hot spots or whatever, and straight women will and give you a couple dollars and go, you guys are so pretty. You're so pretty. You know, which is mountains away from where we were at one time. So it seems like progress moves slow, but we've come a long way in a short period of time. You know, I'm talking 75. That was 45 years ago. 45 years. I mean, it's when you say 45 years, you go, I'm dead. But that's in the continuum of an art form. It's not that long. So now is about the forecast of drag. So we go into this as we get ready to wrap up. So now we've got RuPaul. So just when you think it's evolving pretty good, nice, things are going good, it goes like this. It goes boom. Mm-hmm. And America is inundated with drag. Mm-hmm. Every sitcom has a next door neighbor that's drag. There's gay sitcoms. There's gay this. RuPaul's going into its 14th season or something. It's got 5 Grammys. People are clamoring. He's on everything. Now you can attain celebrity in a short period of time by working the formula. So somebody like me that's worked their whole life to be able to have a resume that I'm proud of, you can send in, they say videotape, it's not a video, but you can send in your audition tape. And if you get it right and you get in there and then you get on and it works in your favor, you can be a celebrity. You can be a celebrity. We now live in the age of celebrity. The Kardashians, and before them, it started. we have a culture of celebrity, and RuPaul fed right into it. And those kids are famous in their own way, and they warrant $2,000 and first class accommodations and more. Those kids were pulling that money down. And then they opened in Vegas. Unfortunately, it'd be closed down by COVID. Somebody like me, people ask me all the time, aren't you pissed? I know you're pissed. I'm like, I'm happy. Those kids are killing it. I'm happy. I knew RuPaul. I met RuPaul in Atlanta when his name was Star Booty. He used to, I won't even tell you what he did, but he was not who you know he is now. He expounded on something that we were all sitting on, and he did it. And it's magnificent and it's glossy, and he made it acceptable. And it's a beautiful thing. The drawback to that is now, in 1981, if they said Jennifer Foxx is going to be on television, well, it was ratings. I'm not saying like the Super Bowl, but I mean, people would go, oh, that's interesting. A guy that is dresses up like a girl. Now we're so saturated with it that the me's have fallen by the wayside, because drag now is mainstay. Nobody's that excited anymore. But everybody has a gay friend now. Everybody knows a drag queen. Everybody wants to go to gay bingo, drag bingo. So, I mean, it's with anything. There's good and there's bad. But at least it's moving us forward. The question is, what's next? You know, what's next?
Right.
Like in 2021, I'm hoping to go back on the road with Frank. I'm the touring host for Frank Marino's Divas show. And, but we haven't worked in several years due to contract disputes and this, that, and the other. And we have to bid on contracts, and it's a long thing. It's a long thing. But I'm hopeful that it's going to come back in 2021. And we were just about to open at Menjo's. Tim McKee gave me Foxx and Friends last year. We were going to open in March, right after the Miss Menjo's contest, and it was going to go into weekly shows, and the whole thing crumbled. The whole thing crumbled because of COVID. I'm hoping that as restrictions with safety begin to open back up, with the vaccines as they ramp up, it's not going to be early. I mean, we all know it's going to take a while. But when, Tim McKee is a very conscientious person. He's very solid, and he's not going to do anything to ever endanger anybody's welfare. So when it's time, we'll open back up, and I'll be that monkey in a dress running around in a circle every week. I'm not going anywhere, and you guys will be our guest. I mean, Jack's got to give up her crown for the amateur. You and I hate to be this queen, but you better have a dress. I said this to Natalie when Natalie was going to be there. I said, you better have a dress that people fall down and grab their hearts, because you've had 10 years. You've had 10 years.
Right?
Said, and I went, I don't care. And Natalie said, I'm going to have a dress over a dress over a dress over a dress over a rhinestone bikini. How's that, John? That sounds hot. That's what we want to see. So a dress over a dress over a dress, rhinestone bikini. Jackie, get on it.
There we go. Hey, Bobby, I going back to the RuPaul thing, I think a lot of the girls nowadays, they kind of thrive on that. but they have to understand there's different genres of drag. You know, it's like just because you don't look like a RuPaul girl doesn't mean you're not going to go anywhere. So don't give up and just, keep shooting for the stars and keep, doing what you love.
Well,
Sooner or later you'll get there, and sooner or later someone will like what you do.
Right. Unfortunately, we're all adults and the media has established the bar. So everybody wants to look, a million girls want to look like Kim Kardashian. Little tiny waist, big butt, big boobs, long black hair part in the middle. And they do, and they're beautiful.
I think that's even drag queen's dream.
The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, everybody wants to look like those women. Big white teeth, blonde, 500 pounds of blonde hair, big boobs. What we see on TV, we think is the standard. Because it's on TV, it doesn't make it the standard. It's just another version. I know I'm trying to be politically correct here, as not to tread on anybody's feet. I know beautiful, really beautiful transsexual girls. Never did a show, don't wear makeup, have their own hair.
Right.
Beautiful faces. That's a face of transsexuality. I know beautiful transsexual girls that are showgirls. We have some here in Detroit. Miss Continental has a litany of them. They're actually transsexuals, but they're entertainers too. That's not mutually exclusive. And I know some cross-dressers that are happy as heck. And look at, she's pointing at you. She's pointing at you like this.
What's your
I
problem?
feel
I feel like there's a hair. There it is. I was looking for that hair. I see it. Where's it at?
I know some cross-dressers, that never did a show or did an amateur show and went, oh, that's not for me. Truly identify as women and have very beautiful lives. So there's room for everybody, but people tend to categorize again, to make themselves feel comfortable. And that's unfair because sexuality and presentation is indigenous to the person. Nobody can legislate who you are. Right. Who Kaylin is, who Jacqueline is, or who I am. Nobody can legislate that. If you want to get up every day and wear a lady's high heel and a men's army boot, wear it out, sister. I mean, if in the morning when you drink your coffee and there's nobody there and you want to put on your wig with a little curly Q in the front there and watch Jeopardy, watch Wheel of Price is Right, hey, make yourself happy, honey. There are no rules. For all those years, they made us think there were rules. And we bought it. We bought it. There's no rules. There's no as long as you don't hurt anybody else and you live the best life and you represent yourself the best you can as a person, you be you. And that's the message of all this. That's the message of Stay Fabulous. That's the message of pageantry at its best. And it should be the message from all of us as we interact with each other as gay people. I'm happy that you are who you are. You be you. If I can help you with you, you be you. And then you take a couple dollars out of their purse, but you don't tell anybody. Just sneak a couple dollars out of their purse. They never miss it. I always do. Every time I compliment somebody, I always take a couple dollars out of their purse. And I buy myself something pretty. Yeah.
Well, I'll be sure to not bring my purse into the dressing room.
Oh, I shouldn't have said anything. I shouldn't have said. I need a new dance belt really bad. I was going to I thought the next show I was going to get a little money from there. And then Charlie, if you buy Charlie a beer and reach in there in that pocket, he's always got some ones in there. He does. I'm telling you.
He'll just think it's one of his little boys trying to.
That's why he doesn't flinch. That's why.
Right. So he'll never know.
He would never even notice. He's like, oh yeah, that's one of my little kids. I get like $5-6 out of him every time.
One thing I can say about Charlie is he's very generous when it comes to shows.
Oh my goodness.
Very generous.
I mean,
Yes.
I of course, this isn't the time to roast Charlie, but
That'll be another show.
I could tell you stories, but I will just say this. Charlie arguably has been one of the most instrumental people in elevating and consistently making sure that there is continuity in our business in Detroit for it's been decades now. And Charlie is very unappreciated, hardly ever paid for anything, mostly pays out of his own pocket to make things right. Charlie's been a really gift to Detroit. I worked at Gigi's for 14 years, and Charlie would work for 8 hours at Gigi's, go home and lay down for an hour and come back and work 8 more. No pay. Charlie ran those contests like it was Fort Knox, like they were electing a new president.
Yep.
We've been really fortunate to have him on our side and with us. Never complains until he blows, and then you got to run.
Right.
But Charlie loves the art form, and he loves the kids, and he's been really good to us. And we appreciate you. We appreciate you, Charlie. We appreciate you.
He's
And we're glad
backstage.
you're here,
It has been so much fun having you here tonight.
It has been awesome.
Thanks.
It's been fabulous.
It's been fabulous.
It's been
I told you I talk a lot,
it's fun.
but I had some points to make, and I'm glad you allowed me to speak. I think this is a good format. In closing, I want to revisit one more time the Stay Fabulous mission statement that hasn't actually been made, but it's thought. It's in there. I think if you use goodness, which you are, I think if you use goodness as your platform, people and services will gravitate to you. I think they'll gravitate to you. And I think if you start small and say, we're just here to listen. We're just here to listen. Or if you ever wanted to do drag, I can tell you a little bit about drag. I can tell you about my drag. You know, there's somebody sitting in their bedroom someplace that's 40 now, that is frightened to death with a tube of lipstick, that puts it on every night and sits there and goes, I wish I could just talk to somebody about this. I just wish I could just talk to somebody about this.
Right.
You know, and drag is just Stay Fabulous is just not associated with drag. We're talking about sisterhood. We're talking about brotherhood. We're talking about not being alone. You don't have to be alone. You don't have to be alone.
Correct.
And many people are just terribly, terribly, terribly shy and terribly afraid. And there are many people that are locked in society that will never acknowledge their sexuality. And to have some people they could come to and talk to and say, I think I like guys, or I think I like girls, is invaluable.
Right.
So if you can provide that in your spare time and enlist other people that feel the same way that you do, it will exponentially grow. It will grow.
And to actually kind of elaborate on that, Bobby, I actually messaged somebody and said, if you rather not talk in the room, for everyone, you're welcome to message me.
Good.
You're welcome to contact me one-on-one, and we'll talk about this.
Good.
So, and people have to realize too, we're not medical professionals, we're not therapists, we're just an open ear, guys. And hopefully we can give you some sort of non-medical advice that's going to help you get through it. Just the standing with you on things is going to be a big help to you. So if you guys have any problems at all, feel free to get in touch with us. We're actually at, I think, what was it, Frosty? 98 people now?
I think so.
98 people has joined the support group. So, it's really taken off in the last week, 10 days. So,
and it will grow.
It's also about community too. It's not just, you can reach out to me or Kaylin. It's like you can reach out to the group, because we may not have the same experience that you have right now, but maybe someone in the group does. Which is why when you just post a status or something and someone responds to it, message them, because they've got that one-on-one connection with you.
And absolutely, once again, it's about connection. I mean, silly things. Somebody needs a bed. You're in there, you're talking, they're like, I need a bed. You're like, my brother-in-law is giving away a bed, and I'm going to call him, and hold on, because it might still be the connection between community has been the basis of civilization since the Mayans or whatever happened in the beginning. Right. And in our own gay community, we lack that desperately, because what happened was it was going that way. And we fragmented. People went into groups. Now it's cliques. Mm-hmm. Now it's based on beauty and who you know and what you know and who's the fiercest and who knows who and who's got the prettiest boyfriend and all of that stuff. And when all that goes away, there's nothing left. There's nothing left but somebody else to say, I know how you feel. I know how you feel. It sucks. I know how you feel. Talk to me. And that's a mission statement for you. That's you start there, and I'm going to talk to you in 5 years, and you're going to go, oh my God, can you believe what happened? First of all, me and Frosty got into it. We beat the crap out of each other. Frosty sued me.
Virtually.
I had a baby. Jennifer Foxx got a sex change after all that crap she was saying about being a man. And then we all got back together, and it's been fun.
Right.
Yeah.
People realize too that the support group is not just for the gay clientele. It's for everyone. It doesn't matter if you're straight, if you're bi, if you're gay, if you're black, if you're white, if you're Chinese. It doesn't matter. We accept everybody, and we will help everyone that we possibly can. So
if you get on the phone and you talk with somebody, rarely can you tell if they're black, if they're white, if they're old, if they're young. People are all the same. It is so old, but it's so true. When you scrape away all the veneer and all the social constrictions and all the social stratus that comes with being an American, I mean, it's all that same stuff. We're all big kids trying to get someplace, have people like us, pay our bills, make people around us that we love happy. I mean, it's not that complicated, but we make it ever so complicated, ever so complicated.
Yeah.
So keep those good thoughts in your head, ladies and gentlemen. And I think that you'll, the thing is, you have commitments other than this, but if you can feed this in the time that you have, I think you'll see it grow. I do. Yeah. I think you'll see it grow. And I'll probably regret this, but if I can help in any possible way, I would love to be of assistance. Don't call me.
Okay.
Okay, kids.
Thank you, Bobby. We appreciate everything. This has been an awesome interview.
Oh, it's so fun. It's so
I
fun,
found
kids.
out things about Jennifer I didn't even know. Like
And
I said,
you didn't even get to the second hour, but you don't want to hear that. I'm very I'm a really people don't think many people don't think this, but I'm a really normal guy, and I'm very flattered that you asked me. So thank you for including me. I really appreciate
we're
it.
honored that you accepted.
And
So-
And we got
grateful.
more to do.
We do. I know that
Okay.
later on in the year we're going to do that, which don't elaborate because we'll be here another hour, but the Golden Girls of Drag. So that's what we want to do probably first part of summer, maybe end of summer, something like that.
The only way I will do it though is if Denise and Twyla don't get to, and Sonia don't get to talk. They can look very pretty, and they're very pretty, and I tell them all the time, and they tell me all the time how pretty they are.
Oh, did you
But-
talk to Twyla?
I sent her an invite, and she
Did
said
you?
yes.
You
She
said
said
her.
yes.
Well, let's hope
But they
she accepts.
They can't talk though. I talk. They look pretty.
They can nod. Mhm.
All right, ladies. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a
Thank
good-
you, Charlie.
Thank you, Charlie. Thank you, everybody.
Have a good night, folks.
Have a
You
good night.
too.
Well, guys, that was the infamous, the beautiful, the
The veteran.
of female illusion, Miss Jennifer Foxx.
Yes.
So, oh my gosh, we did an hour and a half. It was only supposed to be an
Yeah,
hour.
it didn't feel like an hour and a half. Like, I'm looking at the time up here, like, have we been in an hour yet? It was like an hour and 15 minutes. Like, it's been that long?
I know. Well, he's very interesting. I mean,
Yes.
it was a very great show, I think. So, yeah. I mean, I'm so glad that he supports Stay Fabulous and what our mission is, what we want to do, and where we want to take it. So that's a big plus coming from Jennifer Foxx, which is, been around. No, Bobby, not been around. I mean,
Has been involved in the business
Yes.
for years.
Yes.
You don't need any greater stamp of approval than that of Jennifer Foxx.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So, all right, guys, without any further ado, we're going to sign off. Everybody have a great evening. We love you all. Kisses. And I'm Fierce.
I'm Frost. Stay
Stay fabulous.
fabulous.
We'll get it. Girl, we'll get it.